Hello everyone, my name's Hayu. I'm one of the co-chairs of the VML, and on behalf of everyone here in the team, welcome to season 8. It's time. It's the biggest season ever. We doubled in size since last time, and I cannot wait to get going and have everybody compete and ultimately send some people off to their regional championships. Before we get started, I want to, of course, mention our awesome sponsors, Wizards of the Coast and Good Luck High Five. This VML would not be possible without them. So thank you so much to Wizards and to the awesome folks at Good Luck High Five for their ongoing support. So to get started with, today's video is going to be composed of myself, Caroline, who is our other awesome co-chair, Elaine, who is the VML Season 8 head judge, and Aria, who is in charge of the testing and mentorship program for this season. The four of us will give you a little introduction to what the VML is all about, how to play each week, the rules, how coverage works, how the testing program works. And if at the end of this video you still have questions, of course, feel free to ask in the Discord. Before I hand over to Elaine, I just want to say that, for us, for the VML, we've been on this mission of breaking down gender barriers in the game of Magic the Gathering for some time now, for a couple of years. And, we started out in this competitive space where we wanted to prove that our community is just as good at Magic as everybody else. But now we're at a spot where we see these gender-based barriers all around us, and we are trying to think of ways to break them down wherever we see them. And I want to thank each and every one of you for participating, for joining this community, and really just for being part of this project, because it is so important, not only in Magic, not only in gaming, but just in our world, that we kind of leave gender-based barriers to participation in the past. And our hope is that not only will you find an awesome place here to play, a supportive environment to compete in, but that you'll also go on to really participate more in regular tournaments, in kind of the general mainstream Magic events, as a result of having competed here, made friends here, made this support networks that you need to go out and succeed. And we've already seen a lot of VML alumni be incredibly successful out in NRG tournaments, in SCG tournaments, and of course on the Pro Tour. So we hope to see that legacy of success continue with all of you. The last thing I kind of want to say before I hand off is that sometimes being part of this project isn't easy, right? We know that there are people out there who don't want this to succeed. We know that there are many, many critical eyes on us at all times. And just on behalf of the team, we are extremely happy to have all of you be the awesome representatives of this movement, of this project in the world. And I know that that's kind of unfair. Why should we have to be representatives? We just want to live our lives, we just want to play Magic and have fun, but unfortunately that's just the way it is sometimes. And on behalf of everyone here, I just want to say that we have your back. If you ever receive any messages, anything negative at all comes as a result of your participation in the VML, we are here for you. Just let us know immediately. We have means and methods by which we deal with these things, and we will always have your back. So that's enough from me. I'm going to hand over to Elaine, who I believe is going to be talking about rules, and I hope everybody has an awesome season 8. Good luck, have fun, and
Hello, my name is Elaine, and I'm going to be the head judge for the VML this season. Super excited to have all of you today. Congrats to the 128 people who were actually able to make it in. Um, I am a level 2 judge out of Montreal. I'm originally from the States, but now I live in Canada. I'm repping my home tournament organizer today with the face-to-face judge jersey. Um, had to do it, right? Today, I basically just want to talk to you a little bit about the tournament structure and the rules expectations for this event. So let's jump right into this. You should have already seen the the groups, the divisions for the event. Basically, we have sorted all of you into 16 divisions of 8. The idea being that you are going to play against each of the other players in your division once for the course of 7 weeks. Um, the seeding here was random, so if you're like, why did Elaine put me in a division with all of these good players? I'm sorry. But also, all of the divisions have good players, so I promise you will feel that way regardless of what division you're in. Um, because there's a lot of good players, okay? Um, so, the idea here is that you're playing one match per week. And the week is defined as being from Monday through noon on Sunday. Noon PST, you can do your own conversions. I'm in Eastern time, so that would be 3 p.m. Yeah. Um, and you're encouraged to find a time to play that match that works for both you and your opponent. If you're not able to do that, the default match time is noon on Saturday, um, which I know that many of you have your own like in-person events that you're going to. So that may not work for you, but that is why you're encouraged to have a time on a different day, ideally sometime that week, right? Um, we are playing standard, so don't bring historic decks, don't bring modern decks. I don't even know. I don't even think you can do that. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're playing standard best of 3, not best of 1. It's the idea. Um, we are running this event in accordance with the digital MTR and the digital IPG. These are basically digital versions of the tournament rules and policy that we've had basically forever. Like that, these have been built over decades of magic tournaments and like learning different lessons. So they're like pretty good. You can take a look at them yourself here um, by clicking here after going to this website. There are some exceptions, obviously. Like we do want to be a little bit more generous than those documents um, say. Like for example, with deck list submission, we require you to have your deck lists submitted by midnight the Sunday before a week starts. If you don't do that, we're just going to use your deck list from the previous week. We're not going to let you submit a deck list late because, that deck list is only going to be used for one match, right? And if you know what your opponent's playing before you submit your deck list, that leaves tons of room for advantage. Not going to let you do that. So, so we're just going to use the last deck list. If you look at the tournament documents, you'll actually find that it says that you should receive a game loss, but we are only giving you a game loss if your last deck list doesn't work. What else do we got? If you have an issue in your match, please direct message me on Discord. If I'm not available, you can direct message Ryan, but Ryan, isn't super familiar with a lot of the tournament policy and may not be able to answer you. Also, he may not be available either. Um, like is true of many of you, I am also at in-person events many of these weeks. I'm in Vancouver, I'm in Salt Lake City, I'm in Toronto, I'm in Calgary, right? Like, and there may be more sprinkled in. So like obviously if you're doing your match during the week, I'm more likely to be able to like actually be there and fix things in real time. However, do understand, you know, I don't get paid enough to just be sitting at my computer 24/7 for like 7 weeks. Um, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Um, if I'm not available, I would ask that you take reasonable steps to try to complete your match. Um, and obviously, like if you are actually like trying to finish your match and your opponent isn't, I will take that into account if if you're not able to finish it and I have to deal with some sort of issue. The last thing I want to point out is that these elimination matches are going to be played live. Sorry, the semifinals and finals, not these. These you can still do whenever. These are played live on stream. So you do actually have to be available on that day if you get that far. What else do I got? Think that's all we got. I would encourage you to read through this document. I would encourage you to, if you would like, read through the DMTR and the DIPG. These documents are not quote unquote canon for this event, right? Like, we do have rules here that like supersede this, and a lot of the rules here like don't apply because of the unique structure of our event. However, in cases where there isn't there isn't a fix that is provided by the schedule or by the rules here, I will be looking towards those documents for a fix. I'm not just going to make something up on the spot. So it does help you can be more familiar with like what I'm going to do by looking at those documents. Of course, those documents have to be interpreted in different ways. So just because it's like, oh, well, that document says it's supposed to be this, you know, just be chill, right? Like, we're trying to have fun here. If you have any questions, please be sure to message me on Discord. I am here, or in the questions channels, where, you know, if it doesn't apply to just you, probably go into those channels just so that other people can also see those questions and maybe answer them as well. Have fun. I hope y'all have a good experience, and you know, this is a great organization. We're going to try to be supportive of everybody. So if you have any questions, if you have any issues, please reach out. Thank you.
Okie dokie. It is time for the website overview. So this is the part of our little how-to video on how to use our website, both for deck list submission, result submissions, looking up what your schedule looks like. You can also find any information on us in here. So if you, for some reason, don't know how to contact us, there are ways on here. However, Discord is obviously best for that. So the first thing I'm just showing is just the generic Season 8 page that's found by, it's our little cute little website, and then you go here. Currently, all that's here are just the list of divisions. Once we are up and running, I believe it's going to look a little bit closer to this. Something a little like this. I don't want to quote what it's going to look like, but it will have a layout of the divisions with all the players and then a bunch of various stats, including, and as you can see, this is Season 7, a history of deck lists of what players have played, not just in your division, but also in other divisions. One note, I believe this is likely to be true again, is your division, if you are logged in, you can see I'm logged in up here, will always show up first. So in this case, in previous season, I was in Division 2, so I showed up here up in the Division 2. That's specific to the user. And then, of course, there is more information if you are logged in versus if you were not logged in. This is kind of important if you're curious. So we'll talk about some of the settings with your account, but just know that we do our best to just display the display name and the records, but we don't, we do hide some information behind kind of I don't want to say paywall, but the login wall. And that's, for all the players involved. So let's talk about, so that's what season 8 looks like right now. It will look like previous seasons. And then of course there's your profile, which is here. Everything up here is editable. So time zones, pronouns, your handle, Discord. So if things need to change, you can go ahead and change that. Please note though, your arena handle does have to match what Wizards has you registered as. So they do have to match. So you can't just keep changing your handles throughout the season. But if you do, change your Discord or something, go ahead and change that and let a tournament organizer know. So this is something I was just talking about, this public button. This is specific for Twitter. So basically what this is saying is, do you want, the other members of the VML to know your Twitter? And if so, then you would hit public. And that means that on that fancy little season 7 page, for those who hit public, anyone can see a link and go to your Twitter. And of course, you don't have to do that. That's just an example of what I mean by what we see as participants versus maybe what everyone else sees. Also, these detailed pages. This one doesn't look as detailed right now. It will fill in over time. It will show your schedule. It will also show you history of deck lists and all that for your division. The history will be a little bit more detailed, I think, if memory serves, than this generic page. I just, something to think about. But as I said, you can always check on what anyone's played at any point by go ahead and clicking on any week and schedule versus standings. Cool. Let's look at, I have a specific image I'm supposed to get. Season overview. Okay, great. As I said, your profile page will get more detailed, and this is what it will look like, for example. So all the same things I said. I really enjoy this little mock page. I'm reading it for the first time. So this is what Season 8 will look like. These are totally made up for just for all those that are curious. So you got Season 8, you have your division, and then you have a schedule, and it will have, so this is kind of interesting. This schedule is dynamic. So right now, week 2 and beyond, it just says who I'm playing, okay? What it does say for week 1, let's imagine a world where week 1 has happened. It actually shows me what I played and what my opponent played. And because we submitted and the week had started, there's actually a little link to my opponent's arena, and I just copy that. I just click that button, and it copies my opponent's arena handle. That doesn't show up until deck lists are submitted, and these buttons, the schedule button, I believe, just probably stays, but the result button changes from, I believe, we're probably going to cover it, but it's going to show what it looks like when you're submitting a deck versus when you're submitting result. But as I said, this will kind of stay here, and as the weeks progress, this will get filled with more and more information. And you can see this kind of detailed view that I was talking about. This is really only specific to your division, but you can get information on other divisions, as I kind of showed. Also, standings, again, this is just for your division, but there will be a standing page when we get closer and closer. You can view other division standings. One thing to note with this season, there are not wildcard slots. So kind of comparing yourself to other divisions is not necessary. It's just straight top 2 with some tiebreakers that hopefully our judge will go over, or at least you can ask our judge about the tiebreakers. So this is a nice example of that. I do want to highlight one interesting thing. For all intents and purposes, the name that actually shows up for deck, I believe, is the deck archetype, I want to say. And then the name, I think, is just for fun. But I guess don't quote me on that, and maybe we can go explore together, actually, kind of quickly, because now I'm curious. So I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be yes. So what will actually show up in that section, it will not say anti-Caroline Tech. It will, in fact, say the archetype. And when we get to deck submissions, I'm going to show you the difference. But it is important to note that the archetype must be true. The name can be fun. So let's go ahead and go back to this photo. Okie dokie, let's see. Did I do all the things? Yep. So schedule is new. I will tell you, I don't know a ton about it. So I'm hoping. Yes. Okay. So we're going to cover schedule in a few seconds, but I am curious how it works, and I think it will be a pretty cool new addition to our website. So let's start with submitting a deck list. I sort of, spoilers, jumped a little bit ahead, but I think we can go ahead and view a nice picture. So there, as I said, when it is the week to submit, it will have a little submit deck list. You go ahead and click that. There are three major parts about this. One, the deck list is pasteable, so you can go ahead and paste that in. It is not, I don't believe it is like the smartest thing. Like if you submit not a standard legal card, it will not catch it. So please make sure there's tons of crazy nuances in Arena where you can accidentally be playing with like a best of one only card, or maybe you thought a card was an alchemy version, but you're actually going to be playing the standard version. So just really make sure you're confident in that in Arena, if you're building your deck in there, that you do actually select the type of format in Arena first, so traditional standard, before pasting it in here. I think that'll be really helpful. This is also something we've built, so I just really want to let everyone know, like, this is something that our admin has built in the last, 6 months to a year. So if you find a bug or you notice something's not working, one, you can always message the judge. That will have a timestamp to say, hey, this happened to me. But also, if you just find, something glitchy about it, our admin loves to fix these things. So feel free to just add it in. I think questions for Season 8 is the best channel for that. Name, archetype. This question got asked a lot during registration. Name can be something silly. So anti-Caroline Tech. Please don't name your deck that. Archetype. Archetype should be something where just looking at the name of the archetype name, it is recognizable about what is happening with the deck. So you can take a couple color. You can take the colors from the deck. So if it's 3 colors and the Grixis color, so it's Grixis. And then you can go with either aggro or mid-range or control. If there's a really key card, that's a little bit more unique, some sort of combo-esque card, go ahead and you can use that as a descriptor. The main goal, I know people had there was a lot of concerns about like what happens if I name the wrong archetype. We're not really trying to whittle down of like, oh, you said abs and aggro and it was closer to a mid-range deck. That's not what's happening. We are really trying to avoid someone writing mono red and then playing a blue-white deck. Because while it is open deck lists, sometimes you do just scan the list, and especially if standard has evened out a little bit, and you're kind of like, oh, I know what a mono red deck looks like. It's not great to kind of have that extra step to be like, wait, these are blue white cards. What the heck? So we're just asking for the archetype to be true as you can, and the deck name to be as silly as you can, as long as it doesn't say anti-Caroline deck. Just kidding. Cool. We got that one. One thing to really note is you must submit a deck week 1 before 11:59 Pacific time on Sunday, October 30th. But any week after that, if you don't submit a deck list, the system, not like an individual human, but the system will actually just use your deck. It will say, okay, this is the deck you submitted last week. It's now, 12:01 the next day on this, the Monday, 12:01 in the morning. So you are now using the deck from the week before if you don't submit a list. It's not a person deciding that. It's just, that's what our system does. It just rolls it over, which is nice. It does mean that if you don't feel like submitting a deck list, you can just let it roll over. But it does mean if you were meaning to and you forgot, we do use the deck from the previous week. There's no wiggle room there. And then if you want to make sure you did it, just with confidence, there will be a button that says submit previous deck list. In fact, I have an image. It looks like this. So this is actually really cool. This is one of my favorite things I didn't really know about when we first started in season 7. You can go ahead and just submit a deck list from any of the previous weeks that you played. So you found a really sweet list that beats beats me on week 1 and you're playing me in the playoffs, you could go ahead and theoretically submit that deck list again. But you don't have to do this. Of course, as I said, it will automatically use your previous deck from that week. But if you wanted to submit something specific, like Kit Kats, for example, I wish we could click on Moose Secrets. I'd love to know what's in that deck. Then you can go ahead and do that. There are some really fun Easter eggs in here that I have not seen, and I'm trying to not derail us. So that's very fun. Starting a match. So that's submitting a deck list. And going back to that previous image, if I can, because I'm smart. As I said, this user face will change based on whether or not it was Sunday at 11:58 versus when deck lists are pushed. I want to say, don't really expect deck lists until midday Monday. It is a button that our admin has to push. Just make sure everything got submitted. Make sure there's no issues. They don't get released at 12:01 a.m. Monday morning each week. They do come out Monday midday. But once that happens, this will change to a result submit button. And it will also tell you what your opponent is playing. It sounds like you might even have a different image to look at. Okay, this is exactly what I was saying. So it looks the same, but it does say what they're playing. Very sad for what deck they're playing. And it does, of course, you can, as I said, you can hover over the information. This little I, that's what's being hovered over here. That gives you time zone information, gives you pronouns, gives you their preferred name, and of course their arena and their Discord. So it sets you totally up to succeed. For you, and to be super clear, you are reaching out to your opponents to schedule a match. And let's talk about this new thing, because I don't actually know how it works. So this new button is called Schedule. I don't know what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like. Propose. Okay, so I assume if you hit that schedule button, this window pops up. This is going to go directly to my opponent. It's a beta feature. That's one thing I've been very heavily warned to say. It is beta, so be aware. And it may, we may get adjusted as we go. And I assume it's going to pop up on your opponent's end, like on their portal as well. So you go ahead and you can pick a time in here, and you could select. Currently, I believe it's going to default to your local time, and then you can go ahead and send that over. And then let's look at what a response would look like. Okie dokie. So this is sort of on the other, so the other person sent, let's go. So my opponent sent this, they filled it out, and then I received, I lost it, this one. So I can go ahead and confirm that, or I can propose another time. And of course, at any point, just want to be super clear, at any point you can go ahead and grab their Discord name and message them. One thing that we didn't account for, but it's probably good that we worked on this, was the Discord messages have really changed recently, and so there's now this message request, and so we're kind of noticing messages get a little bit more lost than usual. So we really do recommend that you ping in the division channel as well if you're having trouble, because you don't want to just go with one message and never hear from them for the next 7 days. You do really want to do your due diligence to make sure that you can get a match, because we all agree to sign up and play some Magic. So that's something that we're all working towards. But yeah, the schedule button is pretty cool. And I did mention this earlier, but if you click this little A, you do get your arena handle copied, your opponent's arena handle copied directly to your clipboard, and then you can go ahead and paste that into arena. As mentioned, the results button is right here. You go ahead and submit, and there's a cute little image that goes with that. Go ahead and submit as accurately as you can. I'm not sure this is typable, but if for some reason something crazy happened that didn't fit in this list and you're having trouble, just message the judge and get that kind of sorted out. And then, of course, this will show up. This is new. I think this is new. At least I don't remember doing this. Okay. Other players should confirm results. So this is new and pretty cool. Basically, if I'm quick, I'm super fast, I went ahead and I won. So I went and submitted, which is normal, by the way. The winner usually is the one that goes ahead and fills this out. So they go ahead and say I would go ahead and say I won. My opponent would then, wow, I'm all over the place. My opponent would see this and they can go ahead and confirm that result. And if for some reason they have a dispute, they can go ahead and click dispute as well. So that's all in here. And I've mentioned this a couple times. I just want to be super clear. This all stays in your portal. Anytime you go to vmlmtg.com, log in, click your name. This is your portal every time. These are all just dynamically changing as as it's deck list versus results versus deck list results over and over again. So it's pretty nice. It just stays here and you know where to find it every time. And that's really mostly it. It says here to show season 7 as an example. Guess what? I already did. So, haha. It also says mention deck lists will show publicly at noon. Also did that. It's not my first rodeo. Also, it says to send bug and suggestions to Discord at Ryan_MTG. That is our admin, so also did that. Pretty much nailed it. That is our website. Something really silly because we're almost at the end, but something that we've worked really hard on. So if you do legitimately have feedback or some UI suggestions, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing anything because I literally don't know how to do any of this, but Ryan really does like improving things and making this our own. This is something we designed and worked really hard on. So go ahead and send those to him. And of course, explore the rest of the website. There's a lot of cool things. This is maybe my favorite page. Not really sure why. It just calls to me, Anyway, see ya. Bye.
Hey folks, I'm Arya and I'm here to talk to you about the VML Testing and Mentorship program. So this is a returning program for previous seasons. And the idea behind this program is to let VML participants have the experience of preparing with a testing team for a major competitive event. So at this point, signups are already done for this season, and your team leaders should have already reached out to you with the details on how to join a Discord server and maybe starting to organize a preliminary meeting. In terms of what to expect from this, you should expect a weekly discussion of what deck to play, but potentially a discussion of the matchup you expect coming up, and maybe even some playtesting of a matchup once you know your opponent's deck list. In terms of next steps, I'll be doing a check-in partway through the season, and not much else will be happening on my end. A lot of how testing teams work will be up to individual team leaders. Part of the reason why we wanted to make this program happen in the first place is it's often difficult for players of marginalized gender to find accepting testing teams out in the broader world. So while the testing team program itself only lasts through the group stage of this tournament, you're welcome to keep testing with your team beyond that stage in the tournament and possibly beyond the tournament itself. I think that's it for me today, so reach out to me if you have any questions, and good luck with your testing team.
Hi everyone, I'm back, and this time I'm here to talk about coverage. So every week, the VML stream happens on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific over at twitch.tv/VMLMTG. How the broadcast works is that we ask 4 matches, so there's going to be 8 players, 4 matches to record their play during the week, and then on the Friday evening we broadcast those 4 recorded footage matches, but with the casters live on air commentating on them live. So as you might imagine, this requires a little bit of logistical finagling to get right, and we really would appreciate it if everybody tried to be as responsive and helpful as possible in this process. So how it works is that on the Monday or maybe the Tuesday, the 2 casters for the week will pick their feature matches. They will reach out to the 8 players. Sometimes they reach out to a few more just in case, and ask them to record their matches and give them a few questions as well. Usually it will be 3 questions. The important thing is, of course, that if you're not going to be playing your match that week before the Thursday evening, which is the deadline for videos, you have to really respond immediately and say, I can't record, because the casters will have to find a different feature match to reach out to. So if you can at all arrange your matches as soon as you know that you're being asked to be featured, and get back to the casters so to either confirm or say that you can't record your match by Thursday evening. The other important thing is that the questions that they ask you are used to create the content, the assets for the stream itself. So please, on behalf of the production team, when you get back to the casters, or at least at some point in the next couple of days, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, just make sure you answer those questions, because they're usually just very short one-liner questions. Like, why did you pick your deck this week? What are you looking forward to? You know, how do you think the matchup will play out? And you don't have to give a lot of detail. Really, a couple of sentences will do. So make sure you respond to the casters. Make sure you answer their questions. When it comes to making your recording, you can actually find all of the details in the match recordings channel on Discord. The important thing is to always record in MP4 format. We don't want audio, and we don't want face cam, basically just the gameplay, no audio recording. When you've made that recording, upload it to the Dropbox, and then just sit back and enjoy the broadcast, of course, on Friday evening. This season we are trying perhaps to see if we can do some matches live on the Friday. There is a question that you will have answered in the survey where you can indicate whether you're able to play matches on the Friday or not. This is kind of an experimental thing. Usually we just save the live matches for the top 4 and the finals, but this season we may ask some players to play live on the Friday broadcast, and of course we'll only do that if both players are able to do it, and it will be a kind of case-by-case basis. In general, we do recommend that you record all of your matches anyway. It helps for if technical issues arise, for judge calls, stuff like that. So if you are able to, we do suggest that. If you are not able to record your match, that is completely fine. It is not a requirement for participation in the VML, but do indicate on your survey that you are not able to record, so that we know. I think that is it for coverage. If you have any questions, let me know. And of course, encourage all of your friends to follow and subscribe VML MTG on Twitch. And make sure you turn up on Friday, tune in to watch all of the feature matches from the week with your awesome production team and commentary team. All right, thanks.
Okie dokie. I am back. I hope you've all received a ton of information. Good news is this is not live, so go ahead and rewatch it, or go back and rewatch some spots that were confusing. There's 128 of you, of us, playing in this. I think we calculated about 40 to 50% have done this before, so that means half of us haven't. So during those first couple weeks, when we're chatting with our opponent and they aren't sure how to grab the arena handle, or they're asking, what deck list did you play? They don't know how to look for it. Be kind, help them out. We're all learning together. And of course, at any point you get stuck, you can always ask in VML questions in our Discord. One thing you'll notice about that channel, while the admin and our judge and our mods do try to answer those questions, if you do know the answer, it's totally okay to go in there and answer. But be aware that sometimes, we do get our signals crossed, so make sure that if it's a real judge call or anything like that, let the judge handle those questions. But if it's, hey, how do I find my profile? You can go ahead and throw an answer in there. The last part I really wanted to kind of go over was just our schedule, make sure that everyone is on the same page. We've done our best to talk about this a lot, but it is a large commitment. We are going to be some of us will be playing all the way up until Friday, January 20th. I don't know about you, but I cannot at all imagine a year of 2023. So can't believe that that's going to be possible. But I did want to just really talk about our schedule. I also wanted to just make sure that, again, you have taken the time to go through this video, go through our rules, and do have an understanding that, what you have signed up for. Okay, so let's talk about this schedule. We can jump ahead a little bit to Sunday, October 30th, 11:59. We use the time 11:59, so it's really as clear as we possibly can that it is at night on Sunday, just before midnight. This is all times in Pacific. Anytime we ever talk about in the VML will always be in Pacific. So that is deck lists are due on the 30th at 11:59. Please give yourself some time to use that portal. So please try to avoid rocking up at 11:58 and pasting in and hoping for the best, because as I said, one, we built it, two, it might be new to you, and we just really don't want any issues based on just clicking around it and not working out. So, but if for some reason the UI is not working, leave that message with a judge. Judge first. If there's an issue with the UI, you can message the admin about it, but you do need to let the judge know if you're having a problem. Also, I'm sure this was covered in previous sections. We have one judge and 10 weeks of play and 128 players. So there is no expectation that the judge will respond to you at any, immediately in any situation, whether it's during decklist registration, whether it's during, something happened in arena and your match crashed. All of that stuff is unfortunately because we do a very unique system by having you play whenever you want. It does mean we separate a little bit from the judge staff, but they will make rulings based on that. So please always communicate with them, but please do not communicate expecting them to respond right away. That would be unrealistic for our system. So anyway, deck lists Sunday, October 30th, week 1 play can begin anytime on Monday, October 31st. As I said, deck lists will not come out until noon, as well documented here, noon Pacific. I'll just give you my sense. Monday morning, afternoon, I usually connect with my opponent. If I haven't heard any sort of communication from my opponent by Wednesday or Thursday, I do say something to the judge. I just say, hey, I haven't heard from my opponent. I also try other means of communication. I mentioned in a previous section that Discord has changed how message requests go through. And it is totally possible that even with mutual servers, you won't see the message. In fact, you will not see the message even with mutual servers. So go ahead and just find different ways to do it, whether it's inside the public channels or, the division channels. Maybe it's something like on Twitter. But if you're really struggling, I just really recommend that you reach out to the judge mid to late week as opposed to Sunday at, when the results are due. And then, of course, we have the next 7 weeks. I did receive a few questions about what divisions mean. Divisions is just saying that there are 8 people in your pod or your division, and you will, for the next 7 weeks, play all of them. Can't play yourself. You can, just not in this league. So you can go ahead and know that you are going to play 7 matches. We actually take this time to ask that you play your 7 matches. This is different than any other Swiss event that you've ever been in. The O2 drop, it's not ideal for our structure. And this is something we tried our best to communicate. So we really, really, really ask that you play it out, that you submit the decks you want to have fun with. You're not having a good time, switch it up, try a different approach. But we do ask that you try your best to stick with it. And if for some reason you cannot, do contact the judges. There is situations and solutions that the judge can put into place, especially very early on. There are subs that we can add to the league, especially during week 1. So just keep communication open is basically the story at all points. So you'll see here that week 7 begins on Monday, December 12th. That will have us taking a big break for the holidays and having, we'll know who made the playoffs at the end of week 7. The coverage on that Friday will be pretty exciting. We usually do our best to announce the top 32 in that coverage. However, matches can get played after the Friday, so it's not always perfect, but we try to say, here's what we think top 32 will look like. And then, of course, top 32 is single elimination, no buys, no wild cards, nothing like that if you've played previous seasons. It's just good old-fashioned single elimination magic starting Monday, January 2nd. Decklist would have been due this Sunday, January 1st. It is a holiday, but that's what we got here. So you go ahead and you'd have decklist. Decklist can change between top 32, top 16. And then for the week of the top 8, which is listed here in 2 different sections, that's one deck list for all 3, up to 3 matches. So quarterfinals are scheduled just like they have been, just like any of the other rounds. And then you have probably I want to say till Wednesday to play that. And then a live semifinals on Friday on our coverage. And as I said, deck lists are locked for the quarters, the semis, and the finals. That's our schedule. We're going to have a winner as of Friday, January 20th, and we'll have a bunch of prizes, which I know is already covered. And that's kind of all we got. So I really hope that you're looking forward to a great season. If you've been here before, there's not a ton of changes, so good luck, have fun. If you've not been here before, I've said it a lot, but really, really feel confident in knowing the information that we've tried our best to communicate. Ask a ton of questions. I know that there is a testing team that's going to be announced, like little divisions of little testing pods. Ask your testing groups if you're in them. That's what they're there for. Just ask a million questions. You can ask our judge. You can ask our admin. You can ask me. I am participating, as is some of our coverage team and other members. So please don't ask me judge or ruling related questions. If you ever do, I will immediately send you over to Elaine. So other than that, I hope to see everyone out and having a lot of fun. See you later. Bye.